What's up? What's happening? What's popping? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another great episode of Symone with the Sports. I'm Symone, bringing you guys the daily sports talk. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also turn the notification bell so you don't miss a single drop. Period. Also, make sure you check out the link in my description box to buy me a coffee to help fuel this channel, help fuel this Eagles off season, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So you already know these videos are coming like boom, 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 boom. Also, make sure you subscribe to our podcast, Tough Calls, and Apple Podcast or Spotify. The Spotify link is in the description box, so check that out. You don't want to miss those conversations with some of your favorite sports analysts, former and current athletes. So let's talk about Desmond King. Okay, Desmond King. How would Desmond King look with the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, I know a lot of y'all are probably like, huh? What the heck, Mo? What you talking about? Let's talk about Desmond King. So Desmond King is going to be a free agent. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons, why it might work, why it might not work. The biggest factor here is Jonathan Gannon, our new defensive coordinator, who was a former defensive backs coach for Indianapolis. Now, obviously, our secondary needs a reboot. The only real anchor piece of our secondary is Darius Slay. And we already saw how we went out and signed a cornerback last season during free agency. So that won't surprise me if we go cornerback this year in free agency, especially since our defensive coordinator is a cornerback guy. Obviously, we got a slot corner in Nikhil Roby-Coleman, who was absolutely garbage for us last season. He was only on a 1-year deal, so it wouldn't surprise me if we just say, hey, let's hit the reboot, especially since Desmond King is so much younger. He's only 26 years old. He's been in the league 4 years. In the 4 years he's been in the league, he was with the Chargers in 2017 and spent the last season with the Titans after getting traded to the Titans. In his 4 years, he has had 211 total tackles, 160 solo tackles, 51 assisted tackles, 8.5 sacks, 19 pass deflections, 4 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. Now, his numbers did decline a little bit last season, but that's because last season they pretty much took him out of his whole zone. No pun intended. So Desmond King really is a zone coverage kind of guy. When he played zone last season, he allowed 13 catches on 16 targets for only 85 yards and 0 touchdowns. But when they were trying to get him to play man, kind of take him out of his scheme, he was a zone guy with the Chargers. They brought him in, the Titans brought him in and kind of pretty much took him completely out of whack. He had 12 catches. He gave up 12 catches on 21 targets for 169 yards and gave up 2 touchdowns. So this is a guy who we already know is the most comfortable playing in zone coverage. So imagine this. Now, I know he's a primarily slot guy and we need someone to play outside with Darius Slay, but imagine if we took this offseason to completely rebuild our defense. Just think about it like this. Now, mind you, so many different ways we can go this offseason. This is just one way that we're exploring in this video, so don't think this is the only way we can go. But imagine, obviously, Darius Slay, we're locked up good with him, but imagine if we drafted a guy like Patrick Surtain to play outside corner and we signed Desmond. Just look to play in the slot. Look at that total reboot that we have there in our secondary. Like Darius Slay locked down, Patrick Surtain locked down with the number 6 pick, boom. Then we have Desmond King locked down in the slot. Now Indy is a team that really last season Jonathan Gannon was with the Indianapolis Colts as the defensive backs coach. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if we go kind of defensive back this offseason, kind of putting an emphasis on there. But last season in Indy, the Colts were really known for switching things up on defense week to week, just based on their matchup, something that Jim Schwartz would not do. But from week to week, they switch from zone to man coverage. So we can expect, obviously, Jonathan Gannon to kind of take on some of those that style that he got from the Colts being in their defensive coaching staff. So we can expect that switch up week to week from zone man, just depending on who we're playing. And when we play that zone defense, this is definitely a guy who can be a star in our secondary. So just think about this. In 2018, he was an two-time All-Pro, not just for defensive back position, but also as a punt returner. So he can make some big plays as a punt returner as well. So we should definitely consider him as a free agent option. Now, I know the next biggest question would definitely be the money, baby. That money, baby. So Desmond King, according to Spot Track, is expected to make around 6.8 mil a year, give or take, because it is just a projection. And he's expected to sign about a 2-year contract. That is something that's feasible if we decide to go defensive back in free agency. He's a young guy, not trying to sign anybody old like JJ Watt. If you made it this far in the video, hashtag no Watt, because I saw a couple people commenting about JJ Watt. JJ Watt is the complete opposite direction we're trying to go in. Guy like JJ Watt needs to be on a team that's going to be on a championship run, that's looking for their last couple of pieces. Definitely not the guy we're looking for when we're rebuilding in Philly, but I definitely think Desmond could be a long-term option for us. So he is someone we should definitely consider, given we'll be able to feasibly sign him. So we go Desmond King in free agency, and then we go ahead and sign someone like draft like Patrick Surtain or even an Asante Samuel in the second round, and just shore up that secondary, especially since these quarterbacks now are slicing and dicing and breaking down defenses so effectively. So we got to make sure we're prepared when it comes to our secondary, and our corners have to be ready to be locked down corners and make some big plays for us, because we know in our defense last year we didn't have guys that were making those big plays for us. We weren't forcing those turnovers like we were forcing during our Super Bowl run, creating those turnovers, getting those interceptions. So we have to be ready to make that change on our defense, and the defense really sets the tone. Look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The defense really sets the tone of the team. So if we get this defense right, it will help the offense automatically develop our slew of young wide receivers we already have, get Miles Sanders going, get this O-line straight. We can draft some if we don't go wide receiver in the first round, we can draft a wide receiver in the second round. Get some good talent in here, and I think that that's something that we can do. And if we go Desmond, also a guy who's been very effective on the blitz as well, because we know that that's something that Indy like to do as well, is to throw in those blitzes in there. So I think Desmond is a guy we should definitely keep our eye on. Of course, there's a lot of other options we can consider. This is just one of the first guys I'm bringing to you guys. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, keep rocking with me and buy me a coffee down below to help fuel the channel. Also, subscribe to our podcast, Tough Calls. And until I talk to you guys next time, bye.